Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Lindgren. The Steuben County Health Director is being recognized by Corning Community College for her efforts in keeping the community safe during the height of the pandemic. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst spoke with her about the announcement and joins us from Corning.
Good evening, Jennifer. Darlene Smith will be recognized as a community organization partner for her role during the height of the pandemic. She credits the school and her staff for everything that she's worked on these past 2 years. On Tuesday, Corning Community College announced that Steuben County Health Director Darlene Smith will be inducted into the Order of the Red Baron. The school is recognizing her efforts during the past 2 years of the pandemic.
It's one that I will accept on behalf of my whole public health team.
Over the past 2 years, the Steuben County Health Department organized multiple testing and vaccination clinics at CCC. According to the school, over 30,000 vaccines were administered to both residents and students. Smith credits her staff for their efforts in organizing the clinics.
It's not me, it's my entire team that worked so tirelessly and consistently and steadfastly over the past 2 years.
She also credits Corning Community College for being a strategic partner throughout the pandemic.
When the request was made, can your nursing students help us with testing? The answer was yes. When State Department of Health reached out to Corning Community College and asked if they could utilize their gymnasium for mass vaccination site, the answer was yes. So all along, CCC has just really been a great strategic partner.
She will be officially inducted on April 15th. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The Chemung County Sheriff's Office is asking residents for help identifying a man believed to be involved in several burglaries in Elmira. These pictures here show the man robbing the Tops Market in Southport this morning. The suspect is described as 6 feet tall, wearing a green coat, dark hoodie, and a dark mask. Anyone with information about the suspect is asked to call the Chemung County Sheriff's Office. The National Weather Service in Binghamton officially declared this week to be Flood Safety Awareness Week in the Southern Tier. Officials say the warming temperatures and melting snow could trigger local rivers and streams to flood. Residents are reminded not to drive on flooded roads and prepare emergency kits in the event of major flooding. Our options for protection from COVID could soon be expanding, with at least one drug maker floating the idea of another vaccine dose. Matt Finn has more from Los Angeles.
Pfizer is poised to expand use of its COVID-19 vaccine, the drug maker planning to ask for FDA and CDC approval to give a fourth shot to seniors over 65, though eventually it could be needed for all Americans as a new strain spreads quickly around the world. It's called BA2, a so-called stealth subvariant of Omicron, and it's causing big spikes in Europe and parts of Asia, especially China, where major cities are going back into total lockdown.
With more than 2 years of pandemic experience, I believe we can get out of this situation very quickly.
Here in the U.S., at least 25% of new infections are being caused by BA2, but only 25,000 new cases were reported on Tuesday, bringing the 7-day average down to 31,000. And that's leading to the lifting of more mandates, including here in California, where more kids are starting to take their masks off in school after the state left it up to individual districts whether to require them.
Before, I couldn't really breathe that much.
Yeah.
And it started to hurt my ears.
And in Colorado, the state is closing its vaccination centers in favor of a community-based approach, pointing out that the majority of Americans don't get their annual flu shots at government-run sites.
You go to your local pharmacy, you get it when you're at your doctor's office, and we really want to see COVID become more normal like that.
And another sign life is returning to normal, the CDC lowering its warning level for cruise ships, a big boost to an industry hit hard by 2 years of the pandemic. In Los Angeles, Matt Finn, Fox News.
As the war in Ukraine nears the 3-week mark, the death toll is rising from civilian casualties in cities under constant siege. Ukraine's president is appealing to the White House and Congress to help them fend off Russia's invasion. Lauren Blanchard has the latest.
Air raid sirens sounding again Wednesday morning in Kiev, where a Russian artillery attack wiped out the top floor of this 12-story apartment building. As fighting rages in Kiev's suburbs, thousands are without heat and clean drinking water. Officials say the Russians are trying to cut the city off from outside supply lines. Despite the danger, the Red Cross and other groups still leading efforts to get civilians out of harm's way. A convoy of about 2,000 vehicles heading out of the heavily besieged city of Mariupol along humanitarian corridors. Previous evacuation attempts have been interrupted by Russian attacks. Ukrainian officials say their military has begun launching counteroffensives against the Russians in multiple areas. A Pentagon official believes Moscow's ground forces are making little progress, but aerial attacks continue to devastate Ukrainian cities. Ukraine's president appealed to Congress Wednesday to close the skies over Ukraine to limit the bloodshed.
Russia has turned the Ukrainian sky into a source of death for thousands of people. Is this a lot to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Is this too much to ask?
President Biden announced the U.S. will send an additional $800 million in military aid to Ukraine, but would not commit to a no-fly zone. In Poland, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Stay with us. Your complete forecast is coming up next.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
All right, thanks again for checking in as we take a look at your local forecast. It was a beautiful day across much of the region as we headed through this midweek time frame. Tomorrow, of course, is St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to continue mild temps. Maybe not as warm as it was today, but still very much above average. There was the view from the National Weather Service in Binghamton. We had plenty of sunshine, a few clouds developing and sliding in from the south earlier today, but dry. That was the radar and satellite picture from earlier Wednesday. Looking at a morning low on Thursday of 40, average is 23, so we'll be well above that mark, even on the high side, topping out near 15, 20 degrees above average. And we should mention that sunrise is at 7:15 in the morning, sunset is at 7:15 in the afternoon or evening. So 12 hours of daylight, that typically happens around any equinox in the spring or the fall. Of course, we have the spring or vernal equinox coming up this Sunday, and that is, astronomically speaking, the first day of spring, and that's when the sun's most direct rays will be shining over the equator. So a quiet night, talking about some mild conditions yet through the end of the week, but clouds will be on the increase. Rain develops Friday night. It will be a soggy Saturday, and we can't rule out some rumbles of thunder. So as we get closer to home here, this particular model through Saturday suggesting that there will be some maybe quarter to half-inch local rainfall amounts. As you get a little bit farther north, again near the Tug Hill Plateau, we're talking about some additional precipitation amounts, maybe an inch. So this storm system that slides on in will certainly have the potential of some waterlogged conditions. Thursday, though, there could be a better chance of a few light showers off to the south. We'll call it partly sunny on your Thursday, and then a little more sunshine starting off our Friday before this main wave of energy slides in from the south and west, bringing us that rain chance Friday night and Saturday. 40 degrees waking up and heading out the door on Thursday morning. Again, partly cloudy skies. We'll have winds out of the southeast pretty light. A few communities will be down into the 30s. When you factor in the wind, it may feel just a touch cooler. But the hourly temperature forecast through Thursday showing that we get close to the mid-50s already by the lunch hour, and then into the lower 60s into the afternoon. Again, a few more clouds, a couple of isolated showers or sprinkles to the south and east. And again, farther north and west, more sunshine and milder temperatures. Wayland up to 67 degrees well above where we should be by almost 20-25 degrees or so. Even with more clouds, we're still going to be above average to the south and east near Binghamton. Friday, again, another warm day. I think we will have more sunshine. Temperatures topping out again nearly 20 degrees above average into the 60s. We'll hold off on the rain until Friday night and Saturday. Saturday will be a soggier day. Even with that said, we'll still be into the 60s though. Could see a little light snow possible Saturday night, early Sunday morning, but drier early next week.
Our options for protection against COVID could soon be expanding, with at least one drug maker floating the idea of another vaccine dose. Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
It could soon be time to roll up your sleeves once again. Pfizer, widely expected to ask the feds this week for authorization to give senior citizens a fourth dose of its COVID-19 vaccine. If the FDA and CDC both approve, it would be available only to those over 65. But the company's CEO predicts the fourth shot will eventually be needed for the general public because the 3-dose regimen loses its effectiveness as time passes.
The 3 doses were protecting very well against hospitalizations and death, not as well against infections, but also wanes quite rapidly, doesn't last long.
The booster plan comes as a new Omicron subvariant labeled BA.2 is causing a big spike in cases around the world. China, the epicenter of the new outbreak, where millions of people remain in lockdown, some for a 4th straight day. But after 2 years of COVID restrictions, most say they're taking it in stride.
During the lockdown, everyone is very united mentally, and they all want to cooperate, so there isn't any panic at all.
BA.2 is also spreading quickly here at home. The CDC reporting the subvariant now makes up about 25% of all cases in the U.S., prompting the White House to plead for more money from Congress, or they claim COVID readiness programs will be cut starting next week.
Treatments for immunocompromised, providing free tests and masks, providing free boosters and vaccines. Those will impact millions of Americans.
And the White House says it needs about $22 billion from Congress to keep its COVID response programs running. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
Buy now, pay now. Better times aren't coming soon. That's the take from a grocery chain billionaire. John Katzimatidis, owner and CEO of Gristidis grocery chain, says Americans need to prepare for food inflation to worsen. He says increases will keep coming now through April and May, with 12 to 20% hikes in food prices. Katzimatidis says shrinkflation, paying the same or more for less of an item, will also continue. As oil prices increase, you might have to pay more for your flight ticket. Airlines are seeing a comeback in all types of travel and will likely charge flyers more for the rising fuel costs. Carriers like American Airlines, Delta, United Airlines, and others are saying they expect to match the surging fuel prices with ticket prices. According to reports by the Adobe Digital Economy Index and JP Morgan, there has been a surge in ticket bookings and travel-related expenses. However, industry observers are concerned increasing inflation will have an impact on travelers' trips. Democrats and Republicans in rare agreement over an issue impacting every American, daylight saving time. The Senate voted to approve a measure that would make it permanent, meaning no more changing your clocks twice a year. Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
In a rare moment of bipartisanship,
liberal Democrats from the Northeast, conservative Republicans from Florida, coming together.
Senate lawmakers overwhelmingly agree the time has come to end the practice of setting clocks an hour back in the fall, unanimously passing the bipartisan Sunshine Protection Act Tuesday.
We have just passed the bill to end the return from daylight savings time to make daylight savings time permanent.
The ritual of falling back in the U.S. started in 1918 during World War I as a way to conserve fuel. But times have changed. Lawmakers are citing the benefits of having more daylight.
We've seen decreases in child obesity, a decrease in seasonal depression.
As health experts warn about the downsides of losing even an hour of sleep every year. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine supports a year-round fixed national clock.
This chronic sleep deprivation it's only made worse by having one less hour of sleep.
The U.S. has tried to ditch switching time before. In fact, at least 18 states have already passed laws or resolutions to permanently switch to daylight saving time. But they can't adopt the changes until federal law changes. Many hoping there's momentum behind Congress's initiative this time around.
I wish we could just have one time, you know.
The bill would allow Hawaii and Arizona, which do not observe daylight saving time, to remain on standard time. But the House must still approve the measure before it heads to the president's desk. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox News.
They come in all shapes and sizes, and at the end of the day, they can't help but steal our hearts. But while dogs may be man's best friends, data from the American Kennel Club shows which breeds are more popular than the rest. Marianne Rafferty takes a closer look at which pooches reign supreme.
Waiting can sure be rough, but the data is finally in. The American Kennel Club releasing its list of the top dog breeds in the nation. And rounding out the top 5 is a surprise for club officials.
We have the poodle at number 5, which is the first time since 1997. That includes all varieties of the poodle, standard, toy, and miniature.
And owners simply can't get enough of them.
They're very intelligent, energetic, but they can also sleep on the couch all day long. They have hair, not fur, so they don't shed at all.
German Shepherds come in at number 4, with canine experts calling them intelligent, hardworking, and lovable.
Our loyal breed, which we absolutely adore.
Golden Retrievers, with their long, luscious coats, are in 3rd place on the AKC list. Meanwhile, New York City's most popular pooch, the French Bulldog, takes the number 2 spot nationally.
Don't expect them to go hiking with you or swimming, but if you want a dog that you can chill with and have a good time with, they're great.
And coming in at number 1 for the 31st year in a row is the Labrador Retriever.
They are the perfect size house dog for kids, active families, seniors, stuff like that. Very food motivated, easy to train.
The American Kennel Club uses a dog owner's registration data to rank every breed, but with 197 recognized varieties, there are some that don't get as much attention as others, with the Norwegian Lundehund coming in last place.
Starbucks wants to eliminate single-use paper and plastic cups and instead provide reusable ones in order to meet company goals of waste reduction by 2025. Starbucks is testing a program that lets customers get their drinks in a reusable cup they borrow from a store location. Once done, the customer returns the cup. Starbucks cleans it, and then it's reused for other customers. Customer personal cups can also be used for in-store, drive-through, and mobile through 2023. Pool owners are in for another expensive year. Another chlorine shortage is keeping the price of the chemical up for a second season. Les Criviton has more on the shortage.
Pool season is around the corner, and if you haven't checked out the price of chlorine, you could be in for sticker shock. The shortage of chlorine tablets pool owners faced last year is going from bad to worse.
Right now, 50-pound bucket, we are selling $250. It might go this season up to $300.
When you consider that same bucket 2 years ago cost less than $100, it's already looking like this will be another pricey pool season. Sam Saha, owner of Pacific Pool Supply, says 2 fires at 2 different plants over the past 2 years is to blame.
One plant burned down in Louisiana, and they are getting rebuilt. We are expecting end of this year. And last year, there is another plant burned down in New Jersey.
The Louisiana plant supplied about 40% of the chlorine tablets to the U.S. market. The New Jersey plant, its production is smaller, but still managed to produce tablets for most of the year. The impact is yet to be determined, but prices will be going up as people start getting their pools ready. Right now, most of our chlorine tablets are coming in from China and Europe. Saha's advice, you could go the route of using liquid chlorine, but brace yourself, that's also going up.
We sell liquid chlorine, 2 gallon, $10. Right now we're selling $15.99, so $6 increase.
Most people are distracted by tax season and world affairs, so you could do yourself a favor and start looking around for what you need. Think of it as Black Friday for pool supplies.
Get it right now.
This 50-pound bucket of chlorine tablets runs about $249 right now. How long will it last? Well, a pool owner with a pool up to 30,000 gallons can expect this will last the entire swimming season.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Are CDs making a comeback? The Recording Industry Association of America says physical CD sales grew by more than $100 million from 2020 to 2021. This increase still does not match the numbers hit during their prime in 2000, but could point towards a shift in the industry, with music aficionados looking for ways to directly support artists. Meanwhile, vinyl sales have been steadily rising through the years, with record sales bringing in $1 billion in revenue in 2021. Sales from streaming services, both with paid and ad-supported subscriptions, still make up the majority of the RIAA's revenue. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.